Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Sammons, and in each episode, we'll uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Nadine Keller, the founder of Precision Sales Accelerator, a 12-month coaching and training program dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs scale their business with clarity, confidence, and sustainable sales strategies. Nadine, very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here, Olivia.
Oh, pleasure to have you here. I'm excited to dive in. So, with all my guests, I like to start at the beginning of their journey. So, can you take us back to before you started up the company, and then what was it that motivated you to do?
Sure. So let me see. I'll take you way back for a second, which is I started my career at Chase Manhattan Bank about 100 years ago, worked my way up to be the director of marketing for the global bank, found myself sleeping at the office and thought there's got to be a better way. I've got two little boys at home at this point. And so I left to start my own consulting practice. Chase became my first client. JP Morgan became my second. We know what happened to the two of them, which is the worst case scenario when you are a consultant and your only two clients merge. So that forced me out in the market. And I was an independent consultant for about 10 years. And then I decided that I wanted to scale a business. And so 20 years ago, started Precision Sales Coaching and Training, which focused on Fortune 50 companies, helping them to increase their sales and marketing effectiveness.
Nice.
And I had ups and downs and all arounds, almost went out of business a few times. And the pandemic hit. And I had a moment to reflect. And I thought, you know what? When I really boil down what I'm doing here is I'm helping very wealthy institutions become wealthier. And what I want to do is help women like me 20 years ago figure out how to accelerate their businesses and reach financial freedom. So that started the Precision Sales Accelerator.
Amazing. And how long ago was this? So, in terms of from you leaving and parting your own ways and starting up your company?
So I did it simultaneously. I
Oh,
kept the other
amazing.
company going and started this company. But now 90% of my focus is on this.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's dive into that a little bit more then so the listeners can have some context moving forward. So, who would you say is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with? And then
Our
after that, what services do you provide them with?
Awesome. So our ideal client are women who have had a lot of success in their own right. They may have been coming out of C-suites or doctors, lawyers who have started or are thinking of starting a consulting or coaching practice. Many of the women who have started their practices end up hitting a revenue plateau and they don't know why. So we help them break through that.
Amazing. And is that done in a form of one-to-one coaching? Do you work them in group sessions? What does that side of it look like as well?
Yeah, so it's a combination. It has got one-on-one coaching through the foundation of the business, because
Amazing.
that's where it can get a little bit muddy, figuring out your niche and your pricing and your marketing
Yeah.
strategy, that kind of thing. So we offer one-on-one coaching through that. But in addition to that, there's a digital platform with all of our training on it. And I'm an adult learning expert, so there's no fluff. It's 5-minute videos. That was really important for us. And then they apply it to their business. And then we also, in addition to the one-on-one coaching, we do group coaching, which has been terrific. And just recently, we also added a speaker series, a monthly speaker series, which has been super well received.
Awesome. So we can maybe touch on that a little bit in the future part of the
Yes.
business itself. Amazing. So talk to me a little bit about how you go about generating your leads and your customers at the moment. What have you found most effective in doing
So
so?
originally, we started slowly, and a part of our program is interviews. And we interviewed over 100 women entrepreneurs before we started our program. And those were research interviews but many of those turned into our clients.
Okay.
So we went simple first, and that's what we have our clients do as well. And only when we've reached a particular revenue do we recommend doing a whole lot more things like advertising, which is now we are doing that. And in fact, you and I didn't know this when we first met, but I'm actually a client of Closers. So they have helped us navigate the ads. But in addition to that, we do webinars, we have an email list, I've got a newsletter. So lots and lots of different types of activities to reach our ideal clients.
Amazing. And yeah, we did touch on that earlier before we recorded the podcast, which was a great coincidence coming into this, obviously off the back of Close's podcast itself.
Yeah,
So then in terms of the experience that you may be drawn from your own past as well, is there anything that's influencing the way that you're running this business at the moment and the way that you're doing certain things online and strategies pushing forward?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? Is there anything
Yes. I was
influencing?
saying, is there anything that you've drawn from your previous experience working in C-suite yourself, being high up in a corporate ladder,
Oh,
that you can pull through and use in the current business model today?
absolutely. In that business, I think one of the things that I learned, and as I said, there were ups and downs and all arounds. 2008, I almost didn't make it. And I had to figure it out the hard way. And so, one of the things that I learned is we all know it, but the importance of niching and knowing your client inside and out. So, that applies not only to the way that we operate our business, but how we support women in building their businesses. So, there's also mindset that is in as women, we bring a lot of baggage to the table with us, whether it's from the institutions that we've been brought up in or how we've been brought up. And so we are always working on mindset in our program, but it was something that I always had to keep in check myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I speak to a lot of founders every day, coaches and whatever, and being a woman in that space, I wouldn't necessarily say it's harder because that's not a fair judgment, but I would say it brings in other challenges that have been popping up throughout the conversations recently with regards to mindset, with regards to imposter syndrome, a lot of it as well, feeling empowered
Absolutely.
to take that space. Is that
Yes.
something that you find you work a lot with?
Definitely. And not, yes, mindset is front and center in our program. We're working on it all the time. One example, you named a couple there, but another is women have a real disdain for selling, feeling
Mm,
that they need to be pushy or salesy in order to be successful. So we have coined the term the softer side of sales, which is really about leaning into your feminine energy of collaboration and empathy and really being of service to
love it.
the clients as opposed to trying to sell them something. And that frees everybody up. It makes the conversation a lot more comfortable for our clients to have. Having said that, the softer side of sales is not necessarily a passive process because once you have a client that you absolutely know you can help, you have an obligation to help them get over whatever obstacles are in their way.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It's a fine line. The balance, the tightrope is definitely in the middle of that somewhere at one point.
absolutely.
And in terms of sales yourself, do you still, I know you said you conducted 100 interviews at the start of this, but do you still jump on those sales calls yourself? Do you still like to take them, or have you got people like,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yes.
that's a fun part of the business for you? Is that something that you enjoy?
I love it. And I think we are very protective of our community. And so we want to make sure two things when we offer someone a spot in our program. We want to, number one, make sure that we can get them to where they want to go.
Yeah.
And number two, that they will be a contributing member of our community. So there's nobody in a better position than I am to make those determinations. So I like to do, yeah, I love sales. I love sales. I love because I'm learning all the time about
Yeah.
the challenges of our ideal client and we talked about the baggage that women bring to the table as entrepreneurs or business owners. But there's something else at play here when your ideal client is a woman. I believe it's a more challenging sale. And
Yeah,
because women are very risk averse and they also are slow to decision making. This idea of you have an obligation to help somebody get over whatever obstacles that they have, it can be, I think, a bigger hill to climb with, and of course, I'm generalizing here, but with women than men, because men are much more apt to take that risk and pull the trigger.
100%. I would agree fully on that, especially in a sense of if it's a woman, if you're trying to sell women to help themselves, I feel like they're a lot more reserved than maybe what men are in jumping into the coaching space and knowing that they need help and knowing what they need help with. I feel like women often prioritize other people. So they'd be looking to maybe put their investments into other areas rather than their own self and their own wealth.
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's another really interesting dynamic that I didn't realize until we started this business. But I could see myself in it actually from 20 years ago. But women come to us and they've been so successful, right, in corporate or wherever. And they are beating themselves up because they don't know how to build a business. And we think we should be born with it.
Yeah.
In fact, there is a very specific skill set and know-how to growing a business. It doesn't have to be that difficult, and in our program, we make it as easy as possible. But if you have never built a business before, you just don't, it just doesn't come naturally.
Yeah. It's the same as like baking a cake or cooking some bread. Like people say you can do it and how easy it is, but if you've never done it before, where are you going to start? What process would you look at? Were you going to churn your butter and your sugar first, or are you going to sift the flour? Like who knows the process?
Exactly, exactly. And we learned in our interviews, a lot of women talked about waking up in the morning and they could do one of 100 different things and not knowing where to focus their limited resources and energy
Yeah,
during the day. And what our program strives to do is give them that recipe that you're talking about. It's almost a paint by numbers. They know exactly what to do every single day in their business.
amazing. And I feel like that's important as well. For me, I mean, in terms of learning, I always, as you're saying what you should about the short videos at the start, you need short information. I need short information that I can absorb and know when to do. And then I need to know where to put my efforts. I need to know exactly step by step of how I'm going to get from A to B. That's the
Exactly.
confidence behind that coming through.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yep. Very methodical approach, as I said, paint by
Yeah.
numbers approach to building your business.
Perfect. And then talk to me a little bit about what the next 12 months has in store. So, have you got any specific targets or any milestones that you're looking to work towards?
Yeah. So from obviously we intend to grow this business pretty aggressively because we want to help as many women as possible. Our mission is to get 5,000 women to 500,000 or above in revenue. So different from, for example, with closers, the women in our program are not looking to build a $10 million company. They
Gotcha.
are looking for financial freedom and balance in their lives and in being able to design a life that they want. So we want to help as many women as possible get there. But I think the biggest challenge right now is in this crazy environment we're all operating in. There is so much uncertainty, whether it be the social, political, economic environment or the AI. And AI is so exciting, but also there's so much opportunity there. And in trying to figure out how we ourselves can stay ahead of the game but also help our clients to stay ahead of the game. It is very much an ongoing conversation for us, as I'm sure it is for everybody else.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic of conversation. And even as the online space grows and has done since COVID as well, like the thought of AI on top of that is just accelerating the whole process. So I suppose my question to you is, how do you see yourself standing out amongst the rest? How are you making sure that you're above the wave in that respect?
Not necessarily related to the AI piece, but it is, we know our client so well inside and out. And we also, I think, to the extent that we can stay ahead of the curve and
Mm.
make it easier for them to adapt to these changes, that is going to be our ability to differentiate ourselves.
Yeah, love it. And then with regards to AI, have you implemented that yourself in any
Oh,
way throughout the business? How is that
oh,
going?
Claude and I are best friends. Gosh, when I look back at it, it's just amazing. I think it frees up so much time to do so many other things. And so whether it is helping in course creation or helping to think through some things that mm, you may have, it might have just taken you a while to think through yourself. It can give you some different perspectives and things like that. Certainly with marketing, it's been super helpful there. Even in some of our ads, when we do ads and we know one has hit really well, we've had one ad that we've had out there for a year and it's still performing.
Amazing.
So using that to get ideas for different hooks, but
Yeah.
keep what remains the same would be an example. Yeah, so it just amazes me every day, the various applications for it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is pretty mind-boggling is the word that I tend to use often when talking about it. But
Yeah,
it as an enhancement, as a tool that is making us better, and as you say, making jobs that maybe we used to take years before, they now take seconds to hours. It's like the things that you can think of if you use it alongside with you are really cool and very much astounding.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's just amazing to think about a year from now what's gonna be like it,
Yeah.
things that we're not even thinking of, the ways that we can use it. So it's super exciting. And then it's also interesting to think about it from the coaching perspective
Mm-hmm.
and how you can build. We're thinking of building our own AI that will, in fact, help our clients. For example, if it's for our B2B clients, writing a proposal, we have a very specific format for that. And
Yeah.
providing AI so that our clients can just upload a proposal and get our coaching based on our content is cool.
That's very cool. And I'd be excited to see that come into effect if that's something that you're working on as well. Good thing
Yes.
to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
So, just to finish things off as we come into the final parts of the podcast, I've got a couple fire lightning round questions I would like to ask you. So, what would you say has been the best piece of advice you've ever received about scaling a business?
It's the mindset. It is the think bigger than you could ever think. Is that, and again, women, I think in particular, limited beliefs, and it's something that we work with our clients on all the time. But to have bigger and better goals than you're even thinking about, and to continue to push yourself because anything is possible.
Yeah. Anything is possible. I love it. And if you was to go back to a younger self, maybe 20 years ago before we started up the new branch of the company and moved on from there, what advice would you leave yourself with to help moving forward?
Um, Aside from, I believe in yourself, you can do it. Again, mindset issues. From a business perspective, it is always comes back to me about know your client better than anybody else.
Yeah. Love it. And with that is a wrap on another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Nadine, thank you so much for joining me and for sharing your incredible journey and insight with us today. Where can people reach out to work with you and connect if they'd like to do so?
Thank you, Olivia. So our website is the Precision Sales Accelerator. I'm not sure when this is airing, but we do have a webinar coming up, masterclass on September 30th at 1 o'clock, and the information is on our website. I also have a YouTube channel, The Nadine Keller, and my Instagram handle is The Nadine Keller as well. And we're always looking to support women, whether they are part of our program or not. So we have lots of free content out there.
Amazing. And to our listeners as well, if you like this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future by wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. And until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.